There's a very good video back in week 7 uh, on what we call percent passing. And what you're going to see on your screen, if you don't already, is where my arrow is pointing up here is to the sieve. And then below that are the sizes of the sieves. I don't know if you've seen it or remembered if you did, but you see a sieve is like a little old pan with screen wire on the bottom of it, and they put a soil sample in the top, and they shake it like they do. When you go to the Home Depot and get paint, they stir it for you. They put it in the shaker. Well, they do these sieves just like that. They stack them on top of each other, and the one at the top has the largest holes. The number that you see there, like the first one here, is the number 4 sieve. That means there's uh, every inch there's a hole every 4 inches, something like that. But anyway, it's just the same as screen on your outside of your window, and they get smaller all the way up to the number 200 sieve, and it's the finest. Now I'm going to skip ahead a little bit of all of this stuff, and this is the culprit we're after right here. We want to know the percent of particles, fines they call them, passing the number 200 sieve. And that's going to tell us whether or not we have a granular soil or a fine soil. In this case, if you've looked at those AASHTO tables where that you go across, right at the top, it says general classification. And that's the general classification, is whether or not we have a granular soil as opposed to a fine or clayey soil. So you look at this percent right here on the number 200 sieve, that we'll get through these calculations in a moment, that pass the number 200 sieve. 44% of the sample passed it. So now, in that general classification, it's like less than 35%. If less than 35% passes the number 200 sieve, you have a granular soil. If more than 35%, uh, less than 35 passing, if more, the other part, you have a granular soil. Now on the other side, if the pan number 200 retains more than 35%, you have a clayey soil. So, and when you go back to the AASHTO, the table that you go across looking at the groups, the A's, A1 through A7s, and all of those things, you look at liquid limits, and all those come into play. And you can see on this little sample that that lady filled out in that week 7 module, which is very good. I just wanted to go back through this a little bit with you. You can see that in her sample, she was given the liquid limit and she was given the plasticity limit, So this would take it even further than knowing that she has a clayey soil. This would even classify it even further. What kind? Is it A7, A6, A5, 7? It would break it down even further. And of course, at the very end, we would look at a group index. But let me talk to you about this so that I don't think I can do it as well as she does, but I want to let you know that here's what we're considering. We're considering the sieve side, and we're using the number 4, 10, 40, and 200. And this is the pan, and that's what falls into they doesn't have any screen on the bottom that collects the whole sample. Also, keep in mind that we're looking for the retained weight. We're looking for the percent of the total my little arrow's in the way, the percent of the total weight. We're looking for the percent of 510 grams. So let's look at 5.1 grams retained. Well, to get a percent out of it, you would take 5.1 and divide it by this total, 510, and that's going to give you 1%. And then again, it's 5.1 divided by 510, 1%. But look at cumulative. Now you got to add this to this and you get that. That's your cumulative weight. This is just your cumulative percent. I'm sorry. This is your actual percent, but this is cumulative percent. And the way that she arrived at that again is took the total number divided into, or took the retained weight, 5.1, divided it by 510, and that gave her 1%, and she moved it on over because there's nothing to add to it. However, when we get to 5.1 retained weight, and then we divide it by 510 to get the percentage, we have to arrive at a cumulative percentage. So that's going to be 1 plus 1 equals 2%. That's your cumulative percentage. So put your finger right there. Now then, let's go on down to 35.7. And now we're looking for the percent of the total. So 35.7 divided by 510 is 7%, but to get the cumulative percent, we got to go over and up and add this to that percent to give us the cumulative percent of 9. Going on down, we're down to the 200 sieve, and this 214.2 grams retained in the number 200 sieve. And so that's 214 and 2/10 divided by 510 gives us 42%, but we got to add this 9%, so we have 51% cumulative retained. Then we go down to the pan, and in the pan, that's 249.9 divided by 410, that's 49 plus 51. That's what you're looking for. There's 100% of it that went to the pan. So now we've got to find out the percent that passing, and the way you do that is take 100% and take the 1% that passed, and take 100% minus 1% equals 99%. And then we go down here, take 100% minus 2% passing, 98%. Go down here, and then you have 9%, 100 minus 9%, and that gives you 91% passing. Down here, it's 100 minus 51, and that gives us our 44% passing. And that's the way you calculate the cumulative. You get the percent, and then to get the cumulative percent, you add, and then that's your cumulative. And then you get this, and you get 7% here. You would add this 2 to it, you get 9, and so forth. So that's the way we do that. Now, there's a very good video on what to do next that she does. She takes it into the AASHTO tablet, or the form that has all of the classifications of A1 through A, all the way across to A7. But remember now, we don't have to deal with anything in the A1 up to A7, A1, A2. We don't have to deal with any of that because we found out we have a clayey soil right here. We don't have a granular soil, which would be A1, A2, A3, A4. We don't, but so we don't have to deal with that. All we got to worry about is this 28% and this 9%, and you can see her use that in the AASHTO chart. So anyway, on this 7, I want you to do the best you can, and heck, call me on the phone or something. It's real important that you learn this because we're moving into the actual grain size analysis here pretty quick. Nothing real difficult about it. Also, I think it's example 2 or section 2-2 where there is a really good problem going through this weight, a retained weight, percent of total, and cumulative percent in your textbook. It's an example. It's very good and really well spelled out for you. Uh, anyway, I just wanted to kind of make a little video, go through that, and that's it. Remember to give me a call. Honestly, if you have any kind of question over this, don't mind it at all. Mm. Start recording.